Good afternoon, this is Mike Palmer from Mike Palmer Homes, doing another tutorial on a septic system. The reason for it is I get a lot of questions from people. A lot of people don't understand how a septic system works or what it is. Long and short of it, when you're in your house, you flush the toilet, you take a shower, it goes into a septic system, or whether it goes into a county sewer, the result's the same. You just go in and live your life. However, we're up here on top of a mountain and we don't have county sewer, so we have to put in a septic system. Now, the way it works is right here. That's your outlet from the house. So when you flush the toilet, take a shower, rinse something down the sink, dispose all, it comes out that pipe, and it's going to tie right into this port here. There's a knockout port on the side of this tank. If you notice, this tank is very deep in the ground. What happens is the solids settle down there, down to the bottom, and the toilet paper and the food particles, they all get eaten up by bacteria, and your liquid goes to the top and it floats out here, out this port. This is a 1,000-gallon tank. Sometimes you require a 1,000-gallon tank, or sometimes you require a bigger one, 15,000 gallons. Now, if you notice, this liquid's going to flow downhill, down the hill here, okay? And it's going to go to a septic field. I'll get to that in a moment. But if this liquid did not flow downhill, if where your septic field is uphill, then you have to have another tank called a pump tank. So the liquid would go into there. That would have a pump, and that would have to pump the liquids up the hill to the septic field. But this septic field is downhill. So what happens is the liquid comes out and it flows into a septic field. And what happens there is the liquid leaches into the soil and gets filtered by the ground and goes back to nature. Now, this house was very challenging. Usually you don't have a line this long, but we're on the side of a mountain here. We had many rocks in the soil. As you can see here, there's rocks all through the soil. So we were concerned up there how much work we'd have to do to get the tank in, but fortunately we found a spot right by the outlet there. So it all worked very well. Anyway, we came down here. Now, this all works well if you have a good absorptive capacity of soil. The measure of that, they have a thing called an LTAR, which is a long-term absorption rate of the soil. Now, if the soil has good absorption rate, then it's fine. It absorbs all the liquid, goes back to nature, and you should have your septic tank should be in service for a good 20 to 40 years. Now, for a 3-bedroom house, typically you need 300 foot of line. They call this septic line. Now, see these black pipes here? What they are, they're not a solid pipe. They're just a half pipe. The bottom of it sits in the earth, and these trenches have to be level. So with these trenches, we're able to curve them a little bit and follow the contours. The bottom of them has to be level. The top, generally, you have between 1 and 3 feet of soil on there. So the liquid comes down here, gets diverted, flows into these long chambers, flows all the way down these trenches, and you have all that surface area sitting on the soil. They also have some ports on the side, so some of the liquid comes out the side. But all this gets buried and you won't see it. Now, fortunately, we have a lot of oak trees here, so digging through these roots, the oak trees are very hardy, and they should be able to withstand this. When you have maple trees, that's a different story. The maple trees tend to grow in there. The roots grow into the septic, into the pipes, and they can damage your septic system. Now, these pipes do have some ability to curve. These were a special kind of pipe that was made for the mountains. We had to go with a little bit of different pipe because we were very limited in the size of our field. We had to dig about 9 different test holes just to find soil that was suitable here. Now, if you don't have good absorption rate of the soil, you go to a little different chamber system. It's called a panel system. It looks like cinder blocks with a PVC pipe in between them, and you put sand in there to help the absorption of it so it has a better area to absorb, and you can go in a smaller area. They're called a 50% reduction, meaning you only need 50% of the space of a conventional system. I mean, basically, it is very simple. Now, after about every 3 or 4 years, you've got to pump out your tank. You call a company, they charge $250 or so, and they come and they pump out your tank every 3 to 4 years. I've known plenty of people have been in their home 15 years, said they'd never pumped out their tank. But that's kind of like not changing the oil in your car. By the time you realize it, it's too late. Now, these systems do have a lifespan. They don't last forever. So you have to have every septic permit. Where we are, you have to have what's called 100% repair, meaning if that system were ever to go past its useful life or fail, you have to have enough space to replace it 100%. But for all intents and purposes, I probably won't be on this earth anymore by the time this system fails. Now, these are very durable. You can still, you can cut your grass, whatever. When they cover this over, you won't see You won't see anything. You don't smell anything from the effluent or the liquid that goes into here. Anyhow, but these are just sections. These pipes, they all hook together. You have a cap on the end. Sometimes if they're all in one area, you have what's called a manifold that distributes. It's got like 3 pipes that distributes it. Some of them, more expensive ones, have a pump system in there where you have to put some pressure into it. But most commonly, this is your conventional system. This is the majority of what we put in. When they're gravity, they're less expensive. You don't have, you know, by the time you spend money on a tank and a pump and a manifold and all the extra labor, you're getting close to $4,000 or $5,000 in there. So anyway, I hope this was informative. I hope this clears up some of the mystery behind septic fields. It's really not a point, anything to stress over. However, if you are buying land to build on, we recommend that you let us work with you, analyze your lot, and get some of our people here to analyze the septic system to make sure you're not buying something that needs a $30,000 septic system as opposed to something that needs a, you know, $3,500 septic system. Anyway, we appreciate you watching our site. If you have any questions, you can reach us at the numbers below.